he was running through the flat season in the summer and had a late break. Back in, he's just really getting into stronger work now. His first start will be the Christmas hurdle.
But all being well, do you see him presumably as a champion hurdle contender?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, he's got to improve again, but I think physically he has, and he showed on the flat he improved about 10 or 12 pounds from, sort of early summer. So I think he's improved. He's a big, strong horse, and it'd be very interesting.
A Border success.
Yeah, good order. He's on with this morning. We did have a little hold up about a month ago with him just for a week or so he's a little bit behind. But we're catching up now. I would imagine he'll go for the 4-year-old hurdle at Haydock on Betfair Day.
But Boulder's success towards the final flight of hurdles is nimble and spring-heeled over it from Captain Sunshine, who stayed on into second place. But this unbeaten juvenile, Alan King's had a really excellent couple of days, as indeed has Robert Thornton, this horse who holds entries in the Supreme and the Triumph. Has made it 4 out of 4. In second, Captain Sunshine, who stayed on well in the closing stages, having been outpaced. Fairy Rath ran
he's a horse
well
we don't really know how good he is.
No, I don't either. It was unfortunate last year that he was unbeaten up till Cheltenham and unfortunately got on the floor in the Triumph and then went at the first and at Punchestown. So it was a real disappointing end to what promised so much. But we still like him very much, and get him out and see where we go.
So he's never been beaten when he stood up.
No.
Bill, we'll change this time, please.
He's in extremely good form. I've got to get him started soon. And then, depending on how we get on, we might look at the Beecher, which he won last year. I don't think the Grand National comes into reckoning this year. The owners are not keen, and neither am I, so we'll probably give that a miss and see. But hopefully good staying chase and go from there.
Okay. What is it with the Grand National? Why hasn't it worked there for him, do you think?
Well, I mean, he got very, very revved at the start.
Yeah.
He sort of got involved in the false start, and Wayne said he sort of barely didn't see the first and then galloped straight into the second and was pretty upset after it for a long time as well. So I don't know. It's not I'm quite happy not to run it, and the others don't want to run it. It suits me fine.
Yeah. But the other way, the Beecher Chase.
Nothing against that. A totally different atmosphere when you go up at the December meeting, and But he'd certainly need to run. I mean, we took him to the Sandown after the National, and he didn't want to play at all. He hadn't forgotten. So we need to get him back out and get a bit of experience, not experience, but a bit of confidence back into him before we think about that.
Raya Star running a blinder on the return. Claret Cloak is still in front over the last, but it's a long way home. Raya Star, it's a gimme. War Singer back in fifth. Monte Gavallo up the run in. Raya Star in the centre, the far side. War Singer, then it's a gimme. Claret Cloak is now back in fourth. It's Raya Star and it's a gimme on the drive towards the line. No quarter asked or given, but it's Raya Star making a terrific return to action who gets home.
Raya Star. He made an amazing improvement.
Amazing last year. Our leading money winner last season. Very happy with him. He's a lot more relaxed than he used to be. Far more relaxed at home. All things being equal, he'll go what used to be the Great Wood at Cheltenham. 2-mile handicap on the Sunday, and then probably go and jump a fence after that. But I always wanted to give him 1 or 2 runs just to take the freshness out of him before we go chasing.
Has he schooled?
He schooled 2 years ago because he actually got on the floor a couple of times. And we scored a lot over fences just to get him to sort of back off and respect the hurdles, and it seemed to work. So yeah, he'd be interesting. I mean, I'm nothing like as tempted to go chasing with these horses as I was for this new rules.
One who does stay very well, Smad Place.
Yeah, I think he's done very well physically. He's only 5 and he's a lot stronger this year. Would be working better than he ever did last season. But I'd like to get him started, and then he would go to Newbury Hennessy meeting and take on the mighty big bucks.
Is that his future this season? Stay over hurdles, do you think? And
I think we'll make a decision after Newbury. But I am conscious of the fact he is only 5, so there's no great rush.
Hold on, Julio. You must have been pleased with his run at Cheltenham.
Very happy with that. you know, he hadn't run since the festival, and he was disappointed, but he hadn't really had the ideal preparation. But no, a good solid run. Gone up 4, I think, hasn't he? He'll go straight for the Hennessy. There's not really time to get another run into him, so we'll just take our time and try and produce him on the day for the Hennessy, and hopefully he could run very well.
So I mean, he's come a long way in just 12 months or so with you, 117 to 148, I think. Is there scope for him to go a bit?
Oh, I think he can improve again. He was certainly ready to start at Cheltenham, but he had a good blow, and he'll come on for the run definitely. Cumbershire, tough old horse. Yes, he's won his 2, and he's always sort of there or thereabouts. I would think he's fairly exposed. He'd be as high as he wants to be, but he'll go for those good 2-mile handicaps on a Saturday round Ascot and places. Yeah. And he probably won't win many races, but hopefully he'll keep picking up prize money.
Cumbershire. Renard is back in 3rd. They were a long way in front of Aldrich and Titaniano as Oiseau de Nuit went over the penultimate fence, extending his lead over Cumbershire to about 6 lengths as they run down between the last 2. It's Oiseau de Nuit who's spot on at the final fence, 8 lengths in front of Cumbershire, who makes a jumping error. Renard is back in 3rd, and then a long gap to Aldrich. Titaniano blunders at the last. West with the Wind is still jumping as Oiseau de Nuit in the colours of Terry Warner comes up to the line to win readily.
Yeah, he's not in full work at the minute. He's a few little issues, and I hope we might get him back for the second half of the season, but we'll know more towards Christmas time.
Okay, because he was probably your best novice hurdler last year.
Very good horse, and I wouldn't take any chances with him. If I've got to wait, I'll wait. In good order. I mean, he's got 2 options. He'll have an entry in the Paddy Power. If we don't think that's the right route to go, then I'll try and find a graduation chase with him. Started off very impressively last year, and then sort of lost his way. And I think partly my fault. I dropped him back in trip after he wanted Exeter, when I should probably have either stayed where I've also gone up. And just lost his way a little bit, but he seems back in good form. So we'll see. I haven't given up, and he's still a good horse.
And there's now just the 1 fence left to take, and Walk-On's drawn clear here in impressive style. He's at the last. Walk-On jumped it really nimbly onto the run-in, 7 or 8 lengths clear. Zaynar is trying to worry Notice de la Tour for 2nd place, but it's all about Walk-On sparkling round and jumping, and they've still got a horse, haven't they? That was very nice. Walk-On wins well. Zaynar.
I want to get a run into him, and then he'd go back for the 2-miler at Cheltenham.
The Great Wood, yeah.
Again, chaser in the making, but he's only a 4-year-old. He'll have another season hurdling, and I'd like to think there'll be a good handicap in him.
And I think he did well, didn't he, at Cheltenham on limited experience last year?
Yeah, I mean, he could have done with another run after Newbury, but we got what we thought was an extremely good mark, and I didn't want to sort of show my hand again, and it was all a bit much for him, a big field in the Fred Winter, and he got shuffled right back and then stayed on very well. I mean, I think he is a 2.5-miler in the making. I think he'll stay very well, but he just lacked a little bit of match practice for Cheltenham. We got 1 more run into him, and he had a nice canter round Toaster one day, and then we put him away.
Lovson, I think he may have surprised some people when he won at Aintree, but he'd been improving all the time, hadn't he?
Improving all the time. He won his handicap at Wincanton, and then good 4th at Cheltenham in the Brit, and then a good solid performance. And he missed the start at Aintree, and he was always on the back foot. And he's a thorough stayer, and run at the Paddy Power meeting, and then we'll make a decision after that as to whether he stays hurdling or jumps the fence.
Solden Licht. We haven't seen him for quite a while, have we? But
no, he missed last season, but he scored very well on Monday. He's a little bit off fitness wise, but he'd be ready, I would hope, by sort of end of November. He will go straight over fences. I would imagine we'll start him at 2 miles, and probably he might go up the weighing trip.
Okay. He was a high class hurdler, wasn't he?
A very good handicapper. He was, yeah. So it's good to have him back.